Hello, folks. See, I'm back again with the ancient Egyptian maps. Not the Book of Two Ways this time. I'm focusing right now on its progenitor, its ancestor map, which is the Hierocompolitan Tomb 100 map. So, this is that map, just like the book, it's like basically the original Book of Two Ways, or more properly, Book of Ways. And it's shown with west as up, like the other ones. And it's antipodally retrograde, like the later Books of Two Ways, which return to this tradition. But since y'all are used to looking at prograde maps from a bird's eye view, I flipped it to that, and since I'm used to looking at that too, I flipped it to prograde. So basically it was just backwards, retrograde basically means backwards. The coasts were flipped. So anyway, here we have it seems that what they did is they made both of map of this kind, like this kind of coastline map and whatever, and they also put avatars. And I think some of the avatars represent, they're shown twice, like something might be shown as a thing and as an avatar. So like these two women, I was thinking they're Isis and Nephthys, and maybe they are in some way, but it seems that they are also associated with, I mean, they might not be Isis and Nephthys, but they seem to be associated with, this one seems to be associated with Kamchatka Peninsula here, and maybe this island, whatever that is, maybe Paramushir or something, I don't know. And or maybe this island is Sakhalin. And then this, she either seems to be associated with Korea, the Korean peninsula here, and or potentially whatever island this is, which could be Honshu, and or, I mean, shape-wise it looks like it might be Honshu, but who knows, maybe it's Kyushu, or Kyushu with Shikoku or something like that. So there you go. And I'm not sure what this guy is, but there is a little bird in this area on the later maps. So yeah, who knows. And so this seems to be, this is America, this is South America, this is North America, this is Greenland, this is Hudson Bay, this is Florida when it was much wider. And let's see. This seems to be the British Isles. This seems to be Britain here, and then these three captives seem to be Ireland's three kind of western provinces of Ulster, Connacht, and Munster. I'm not really sure how to pronounce Connacht. It's like Connacht. So it's probably either Connacht or Connacht or Connacht. Probably not that. And then I'm not sure what these guys are. Hard to know. Could be that these guys are actually like Iceland and the Faroe Islands. Just placed in a weird position. Hard to know. Anyway, and then this guy may represent whatever peninsula island this is, probably around Santiago, Chile. And I'm guessing that this right here can be kind of taken to be like the Pillars of Hercules, albeit inside out. Basically like Gibraltar and Almina, basically the mouth of the Mediterranean. You know, it could be wrong, but it seems to line up more or less that this, you know, because it's more or less across from Mexico area. Anyway, so yeah, I think this is Britain. This might be the Faroe Islands and Iceland. I'm guessing this is the Azores, and this little thing might be basically Atlantis when it, you know, when it was, you know, before like it was submerged. Basically, the Azores, the biggest part of the Azores that was above water before the sea level rose 400 feet over the last 10,000 years. Because this map is 5,500 years old, so it was not made in a day. It could have been based on 10,000-year-old maps. I mean, here I am, you know, analyzing it 5,000 years, over 5,000 years later, so they may well have been analyzing maps that were 5,000 or more years earlier than them. So yeah, that's my guess for this, and it's kind of just northwest of Spain, you could say here, so that would make sense, and kind of southwest of Britain, or at least west of Britain, I don't know. And then these ones seem to be like, well, I'm not exact. Oh, I think I might know what this guy is. I don't know, it's pretty confusing, but I think these are basically somehow Madeira and the Canary Islands and probably Cape Verde Islands, and these might be 3 islands that are off the coast of West Africa, like equatorial West Africa. And then this seems to be Cuba and Jamaica and Hispaniola. And this seems to be, I'm thinking this is the Bahamas. I was thinking this was just the compass for the map, which it may be. But since everything else seems to basically be terrestrial, it may be the Bahamas, or it may be both. And it may be that this was the ancient, you know, important whirlpool in the ocean that was supposed to, you know, turn the sea and turn the sky and everything. Would be the Bahamas, which is where a lot of, you know, the kind of area where a lot of storms and whatnot begin. And the Bahamas is like 90% seamounts and like 10% islands. So seamounts naturally create waves and wind and everything. So it's natural. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got so far. And that, yeah, that would be Cuba, that would be Jamaica, this would be Hispaniola, and this would be Puerto Rico. And I'm not sure if this is meant to be an island or if this was some symbolic of some kind of peninsula. And same with this, I'm really not sure what the heck that would be, or that, but I'll try to get into it. So yeah, these are the original Pokemons. So I'm going to try to catch them all, you know, like here's the larger one that shows, I think this might be Scandinavia there, and I'm not sure if these bears are terrestrial or celestial. They could be, you know, the north, because this is the northernmost place. This is basically at the North Pole right here. So since Ursa Major and Ursa Minor were the northernmost constellations, it could be that those just symbolize that, but it also could be that there's a terrestrial component. I mean, certainly Scandinavia itself is kind of shaped like a bear. So yeah, and then this is like this is Antarctica, the Antarctic Peninsula, and this is Antarctica. But this guy, I think, is also Antarctica. So this, I think, confirms my belief that this map contains some things that are shown both as avatars and as a more standard type of map. So so here's one part of it that I just, you know, this is just a tiny part of this map, so it's going to take a while to like really identify every aspect of the map. But you know, they used boats as parts of maps, just the way that Pacific Islanders do. They make little, you know, stick charts that look like boats, but they're really symbolizing islands and whatnot. So, and if you understand how to read those geometric stick charts, then the shape of the boat will tell you like about the island. So this island seems to have, you know, West Falkland right here with like a big wow, this camera sucks. Big like part on the whatever side, I guess the north side of it, and a smaller kind of twisted, a part that kind of twists away on the southern side. So that's this, seems to be this, and then the little isthmus is kind of right there. This thing right here seems to be Lafonia, which is basically it's half of East Falkland. And it's funny, it's the only half of East Falkland that has a name. So East Falkland is divided into Lafonia and not Lafonia. So this is not Lafonia, East Falkland. This is Lafonia, East Falkland. So yeah, this guy seems to be this, you know, it's like kind of pointy and it has these little things coming out. So that seems to be these guys. And then this little thing there seems to be Lively Island, which is, you know, kind of between this and that. And then this guy here seems to be non-Lafonia East Falkland, whatever we call this. I call it Northeast Falkland. And, you know, it's not exact, but it kind of gets that there's like an indent and that it goes off in two directions a bit and then more rounded on the bottom. And then this boat just has this weird curly Q thing type of whatever. So that's this Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands, which start off thin and like pointed like that way and then kind of curl a bit. I mean, I would have to twist it to have it be more accurate, but it does kind of you know, go like this and then go a bit like, I think this part where it kind of goes up and then down here and then up. I think that's this where it goes up here, down, and then up. And then the end is just that part. So, and this may have been a very important place for the Egyptians, or at least for their cosmology. This, I think this is called the Hennu bark, which is a very, you know, very sacred boat in the iconography of ancient Egypt. So it may be that the Hennu bark always referred to this Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands. and it's associated with the night. And I think this boat is associated with the day. And this is a little bit south of there. So it may have been thought that, you know, all of this is interrelated with the sky and with the course of the day and night and everything. So there you go. Let me just make it. All right. So there's that one. Let's see, what else do we got here? Okay, so yeah, this is the Antarctica one. So it shows Antarctica as like an orangish landmass, and it also shows this guy inside it. And so it seems to be, well, I'll have to find another photo to really illustrate it. Let's see. By the way, I think that these two are these two guys right here, and that he's the crouching one here, and the basically the animal that he's holding or whatever is this thing. So this is like its tail, and so it's, you know, and you can see how he's darker colored and it's like white colored, and that's corresponds, of course. So yeah, pretty sure about that one. This one, I'm pretty sure that I'm not 100%, but I at least think that, yeah, this one is this guy and this one is that guy. Because, you know, like I haven't been able to find like something symbolizing the horns yet, but it seems like in this really ancient system, the horns are often just kind of like added on and not necessarily representing anything very specific. But it has like a similar shape somewhat where, you know, it's like pointy mouth and even kind of an indent between the top of the head and the tip of the nose. So that would be like an indent there. I mean, here it's weird because it actually sticks up at an angle, but somewhat close to that without looking like it couldn't be an animal. And then this chest part, the white part, would seem to be this part. And then the black part at the back would seem to be this. And yeah, the red part would be up here. And this guy, it seems like these islands and stuff that go around him are like his arms. So it's hard to know, is this his upper arm and this is lower arm, or is this hard to know exactly, but I'm thinking that that's who that is. And I'm not exactly sure which island these are called, but this is basically Madeira. So yeah, the islands of Madeira, which are politically part of Portugal, I believe, like the Azores. Let's see. Here's something from the Book of Two Ways. Come on, you piece of shit. Okay, there. So St. Lawrence Island in the ancient Egyptian Book of Two Ways. So this is the island that's referred to in the Book of Two Ways of Jehudi Hotep as being a man who is captive. So in that version, his avatar, he's basically seen as a man who's tied up. His hands are behind his back here, and his knees are right here, and so his feet and hands are kind of tied together behind him, and you know, maybe his shoulders are there and his arms are pulled back, and then this might either be his beard and his head is really pulled up at an angle, or it could be that is the rope that kind of, you know, he's tied up basically, and there's a rope that goes around his like head and attaches to his like hands and feet here, which I think is a real thing they did and probably still do to captives. I mean, probably Guantanamo Bay and stuff, they still do all this type of thing. But in this version, he seems to be a bird. So based on where he's placed in the map, it seems to be, Siberia, basically. So it seems that it has to be him. So in that case, these are, it's a bird with unusually long legs going forward at a diagonal angle. So that's these. And a big round head. And so, it's not exact, obviously. Like, again, the beak is like not exactly that shape, but it's, approximate. And I think like the tail where there's the bottom part curls around, if you really zoom in there, it kind of does do that. Like the furthest, the bottom part of that is like there's like a little tiny peninsula there. And there's might even be an eye right here. Maybe that little dot is an actual eye for him. So yeah. See, this is Britain again. Forgot what else I was gonna say about this. Probably a lot. Well, I think that not sure how visible, but I think this is more accurate than it even looks like at first. Like, for instance, Ulster, let's say this is Ulster's head that Argyle is holding. It's right here. But then his body is further in, so maybe this is his body down here. And then there's his arm is coming up. And I think there is, I think especially if you zoom in on this, the details are oddly accurate, Anyway, I'll get into that on other photos that show it better, I guess. But yeah, I'll try to find the other one which explains this better if I show them both together, but in case I can't find that, I'll at least show this as it is. So it seems that his arm is this, the Antarctic Peninsula. I'm guessing his head is this, although it could conceivably also be this or something else, but I'm guessing his head is that. And, his pole or whatever that he's holding, which may basically be considered to be the South Pole, and it basically is the South Pole because the South Pole is like right there. So that seems to just represent, this and then that. So like, yeah, this part goes this angle, and then from there on it goes like a different angle. So there's that. Getting into his body and stuff, it's pretty difficult to know what's what. It could be that this line is somehow like this ridge here, and that this part is, it's hard to really know. This is Antarctica without ice. Should have said that at the beginning. This is a map showing Antarctica without ice. So, and it seems that these two dots are the two little islands. Like there's some kind of a cluster of little islands right there, and there's a little cluster just west of there. So that seems to be this and this. The Lord of the Warrant Pole. And what else do we got? So this is from the 5,500-year-old Hirakumpolitan map. And so it's basically New Zealand. And, you know, as his head is Stewart Island. His upper body is, you know, the South Island of New Zealand. His lower body is the North Island. And you can tell it really, just like the later maps, it just really focuses on certain parts, like whatever is considered the important or distinctive part. And so, you know, with him, the most distinctive thing is that it's 3 separate islands, and especially the 2 main islands are separated by a, you know, channel. But also, of course, the shape of the North Island and these like peninsulas that are, which Auckland is between. So, so yeah, obviously this peninsula, I forget what it's called, but this one is this leg or whatever. And then this larger peninsula is this larger leg, longer leg. And then this thing is, of course, this island right here, which I'm not sure what it's called. I'll try to find out. So there's that guy, and see, my phone might cut me off in a sec. So here is showing Cuba. And Cuba, you can especially see his nose, because Cuba has this little pointy nose that sticks down here. And this guy has like a little pointy nose that sticks down, you know, compared to the other animals. His is like shaped that. And then this is like his tail. Oh, let's see, I'm getting a call. Anyway, I guess my phone's going to cut me off anyway, so I'll leave it at that and pick up tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching.